Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. From tackling issues like earthquakes to adulterants in food to curing cancer, scientists are striving hard to find answers. And thanks to their persistence, a few such problems have been solved during the week. We'll get you all the details, but let us begin with the headlines. Tackling earthquakes, seismic microzonation of Delhi and Kolkata mapped. No more mixtures in milk. Scanner will expose adulterants. Goodbye to drugs. Now designer cells will cure cancer. Tracking children's health made easy. ICHR mobile app launched. The National Science Day that marks the birth of Raman effect is the celebration of science and its immense contributions. Our today's segment of In Focus is dedicated to the genius who discovered the principles of scattering of light. And now the news in detail. In the recent times, the world has experienced some of the most traumatic earthquakes. With this has come the understanding that accurately predicting the impacts of the earthquakes requires a much deeper understanding of specific geological areas and habitats. In this context, researchers have mapped the seismic microzonation of two major cities of India. The microzonation charts of Delhi and Kolkata will now equip the experts to measure the impact of earthquakes and design appropriate structures to minimize loss of lives.
It is generally believed that the impact of an earthquake decreases as one moves away from the earthquake epicenter. While it seems to be logical, experts claim otherwise. Proof is the severe damages in Mexico City during the earthquake of 1985, while the epicenter was located 350 kilometers away. What is more, the devastating Nepal and Hind Kush earthquakes, which despite being located very far, shook many parts of India. While the present technology cannot make a 100% accurate prediction of an earthquake, but the resulting damage due to them can be minimized by taking proper measures. Seismic microzonation is one such crucial measure which tries to understand the impact of an earthquake on a certain habitat and mitigate the effects. In this context, the Union Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan, recently released the seismic microzonation reports for Delhi and Kolkata in New Delhi. Previously, the Bureau of Indian Standards has created the seismic zoning map for entire India and has classified the entire country into four major groups, that is, Zone 5 referring to high intensity to Zone 2 referring to low intensity. Furthering this, the seismic microzonation of Delhi has been conducted by the National Centre for Seismology, and Kolkata has been undertaken by Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, in consortium with a few other organizations in Kolkata under the aegis of the Geosciences Division, Ministry of Earth Sciences.
Entire NCT has been divided into several microzones, and now we have divided using all these studies. We have put them in three major categories: low hazard, medium hazard and high hazard. High hazard is a region which is where you expect more damage because of an earthquake in Himalaya or Hindu Kush, whatever. But the low hazard is the rocky area where you don't expect much damage because of these distant earthquakes. High hazard region is generally close to Yamuna area, so which is more towards north.
While the National Capital Territory Delhi is located in Seismic Zone 4 of the Macro Seismic Zoning Map, Kolkata was placed at the border of Seismic Zone 3 and 4.
Once you have a new seismic coefficient, you have to decide what kind of building material you will be using and what kind of building you can. Suppose you have a predominant frequency of 1 Hertz, then you can go up to 10-story building. If the predominant frequency is 0.1, then you can go to 100-story building. But they are having skyscrapers, they are having, you have seen in the newspapers and all, and we have all sorts of fashionable buildings coming up, atmosphere, cloud, this, that, and all of them have got the structures which cannot be sustained by the Kolkata soil. So therefore it is very hazardous, we have to be very careful.
The report will be immensely useful in more accurate assessment of seismic hazards, along with development of earthquake-safe structures, appropriate land use, and implementing safe building construction codes to minimize loss to lives and properties.
Milk, considered wholesome food by experts. But the very milk which can nourish the body can turn into a life-taking poison when it is mixed with chemicals like urea, hydrogen peroxide and many more. Well, it is time to say no to adulterated milk, as researchers have developed a novel scanner which can detect impurities in milk within seconds.
One of the largest producers of milk in the world, India leads the sector, owning about 18% of the world's milk production. While on an average, India produces 146 million tons of milk annually, what is surprising and shocking is that 60% of this is adulterated. Adulteration of milk occurs during its distribution when sellers add dirty water in addition to many harmful chemicals like urea, detergents, liquid soap, boric acid, caustic soda, and hydrogen peroxide to milk. Under these circumstances, milk, the wholesome food, becomes carriers of serious health issues ranging from digestion problems to heart disorders and cancers, and sometimes even death. Now, in a major step towards detecting adulterants in milk, CSIR's Central Electronic Engineering Research Institute, Pilani, has developed a milk scanner, an instrument for detecting milk adulteration. The scanner was recently demonstrated to the Union Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan. The milk scanner, which works with an investment of less than 50 paisa, can detect adulterants in milk in less than 40 to 45 seconds. What is more important is that the scanner can detect urea and soda samples as low as 1 gram per liter of milk samples and 2% of detergent and salts and 1% of soap in milk samples. Quite easy and safe to use. The scanner has been installed on trial basis at various milk centers across the nation.
इस सिस्टम से मिल्क के कलेक्शन सेंटर्स पे यदि आपने मिल्क मॉनिटर किया तो जो मिल्क कंटामिनेटेड मिल्क जो आगे बल्क मिल्क कूलर्स और डेयरी में जाता है उसको आप वहीं रोक सकते हैं। इस सिस्टम का एप्लीकेशन ये है। ये टेक्नोलॉजी इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल डिटेक्शन बेसिस पे आधारित है। इसमें इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल मेथड और कंप्यूटर की एल्गोरिथम्स जिसको पैटर्न रिकॉग्निशन बोलते हैं उन दोनों का हाइब्रिड एक मिक्सचर है, उस पर बेस्ड है ये। मेनली इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल मेथड है।
At the moment, the scanner costs 1 lakh rupees, which is expected to reduce further in the coming years. While the scanner is a big step towards checking the adulteration of milk, CSIR is also working towards developing novel instruments for checking the nutritional content of the milk.
It is often said that drugs for cancer kill faster than cancer itself. True in many sense, the current drugs for cancer come with major side effects. But the day may not be far when doctors might be able to use a patient's own body cells to fight and cure cancer. Yes, researchers have developed special designer immune cells which can recognize and kill cancerous cells within the body.
with over 14 million new cases and over 8.2 million deaths annually. Cancer is a growing healthcare menace across the globe. While chemotherapy and radiotherapy are today's widely accepted cures for cancer, researchers across the world are striving towards novel and much effective cures with lesser side effects. A ray of hope could be the new immunotherapy techniques that have been developed by different groups. Immunotherapy aims to boost and use the body's natural defenses to fight the cancer. In this direction, doctors at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital have successfully treated a 1-year-old baby suffering from incurable leukemia using immunotherapy. The baby was treated using special designer immune cells for the first time. The cell therapy based on gene editing and involves adding new genes to healthy donated T immune cells using a gene editing technology called TALEN. TALEN, which acts as a molecular scissors to cut out and insert specific genes, is used to engineer T cells of the immune system in such a way that they are rendered invisible to attack by powerful leukemia drugs that would usually target them, and secondly, they are reprogrammed to only target and fight against diseased leukemia cells.
We're engineering particular types of T cells that we know have the capacity for longevity. So they are the cells that provide us with immunologic memory. And so they do theoretically have the potential to live in the body for life. And so that could provide, first of all, it provides an immune response against the tumor that lasts long enough, hopefully, to eradicate all the tumor cells. But secondly, it would give you a persisting immune response that could recognize a cancer should it start to grow again.
The designer cells can be injected into the patient's body intravenously. In yet another study based on T cells, Dr. Stanley Riddle from the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center has announced his findings to the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Dr. Stanley and his team have developed a method to fight cancer using immunological memory. The idea involves engineering particular types of T cells with long life which can recognize cancer at the onset and trigger an immune response to kill tumor cells. While both the techniques have the potential to cure cancer, they are also designed to greatly reduce the chances of a relapse and might emerge as the cures of the future.
From paying bills for household utilities to managing international travels and even recording workout details, the world has shrunken from piles of paperwork to a simple app on a handheld mobile. Now you may even record and track your child's growth and vaccine schedules with the new integrated child health record app. This app connects doctors and parents to monitor a child's growth in real time and can be used to even track the progress of preterm babies once they're out of hospital.
Children are the real future of the nation. And the foundations of a prosperous and strong nation, needless to say, depends upon the health and overall well-being of its younger generation. With increasing demands of the expanding population, facilitating appropriate child healthcare facilities has emerged as a great challenge. In these circumstances, Oxyent Medicals, an Indian R&D company, has come up with a new mobile application.
It's India's first digitally link for hospital and patients. So we are trying to bring all the growth vaccination data in hands of the patient through this unique product called ICHR. All the visits and patient vaccination data can be seen by the patient when they are at home. Also, doctor will be given an username and password, so it's authenticated data entered by the doctor during the visit of the patient.
The ICHR app, a novel product based on cloud computing and mobile technology, was recently launched at a press conference in Delhi. While ICHR will help us say goodbye to the tedious task of filling vaccination cards, it will allow us to access the health records of our children online, anytime, anywhere in the world. ICHR is designed to aid healthcare research through data collection and will prove helpful in early diagnosis of both obesity and malnutrition among urban and rural children. The mobile app is secure and follows the HIPPA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. According to WHO reports, India witnessed 7 lakh neonatal deaths annually, and almost 3 lakh of such cases are caused by lack of vaccination. In this scenario, ICHR aims to address these issues and bring down infant mortality through appropriate solutions.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be back with more science news. Keep watching Science Monitor.
That clock ticked through the night. So much happened as you slept. So much you missed.
Wake up to a complete roundup of news from India and abroad. Politics, strategy, business, sports. Keen analysis to kickstart your day. Watch Breakfast News weekdays at 8 a.m. on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
Bhabha Atomic Research Center has got a new leadership as Shri K.N. Vyas has taken over as Director BARC. Shri K.N. Vyas is a distinguished scientist and Associate Director, Reactor Projects Group, and is a graduate from the 22nd batch of the BARC Training School. Shri Vyas has vast experience in design and analysis of nuclear reactor fuels. In a major step towards developing a cure for Zika virus, a group of Chinese researchers from the Institute of Microbiology and Epidemiology under the Academy of Military Medical Sciences have sequenced the complete genome of Zika virus. The virus was isolated from the urine sample of a Zika-infected patient. According to the researchers, the genome belonged to Asian strains, which is the same as some major virus strains spreading in North America, Brazil, Suriname and Puerto Rico. The genome and genetic variation of the virus can prove vital for diagnosis and treatment of Zika.
For ages, it was believed that the blue color of the sea was due to reflection of the sky. Until in 1928, a scientist challenged this belief and proposed that the blue color of the sea was due to scattering of light by water. The scientist was Sir C.V. Raman, and his theory, the famous Raman effect. From nabbing criminals, explosives, hazardous chemicals and gases to pharmaceuticals, material sciences, petroleum industry and chemical industry, Raman effect finds application in many fields. As the nation celebrates yet another science day dedicated to this genius mind and his findings, let us try to understand what actually Raman effect is and how this has found applications in so many fields in our next segment, In Focus.
I propose this evening to speak to you on a new kind of radiation or light emission from atoms and molecules. These were the historic words of Sir Chandrasekhar Venkat Raman as he began his lecture to the South Indian Science Association in Bangalore on March 16, 1928. Following this, Raman proceeded to describe a discovery of the world-renowned Raman effect, which changed the course of physics and won him the Nobel Prize in 1930. The first Asian and Indian to receive the most coveted prize of science. Countless men must have observed the blue color of the sea since ancient times, but it took the genius of C.V. Raman to decipher the natural law behind this seemingly simple phenomenon. The curiosity to question simple occurrences and the perseverance that takes to answer them is what sets scientists like C.V. Raman apart from the common man.
The light scattering experiments which he did actually arose from his love for nature, no doubt about it. But I would also like to point out that his early research in the Presidency College in the area of light, optics, has also contributed to his interest in light. And I would like to say that he is also a great admirer of Lord Rayleigh, who was an outstanding scientist of his time and who had himself had so much of love for nature.
And what is more, the discovery was made far away from the great centers of scientific research using simple equipments aboard a ship sailing in the Mediterranean Sea from Europe to Kolkata. In principle, Raman effect explores the scattering of light when it passes through a medium and explains that the blue color of sea is due to the scattering of sunlight by the water molecules, a phenomenon which is called molecular diffraction. When light beams falls on a liquid or a solid medium, some of the beams pass through, but a small part of the light is deflected and scattered in different directions by the molecules of the medium. Raman demonstrated that the wavelength of the scattered light is different from the wavelength of the original incident beam. This change in wavelength of the light beam on deflection by a medium is known as the Raman effect.
See, one of the very interesting experiments that he did was diffraction at oblique angle through a rectangular slit. This is a problem that was really waiting to be cracked, and he did crack it at the age of 18, believe it or not. And then he went about publishing 2 papers in one of the outstanding journals of the time, Philosophical Magazine of London. And just imagine, at the age of 18, he comes out with the 2 excellent papers in a leading journal.
Identified as one of the fundamental principles of optical physics, Raman's light scattering effect finds immense applications in today's digitalized world. Researchers and experts working in the area of pharmaceuticals, material sciences, petroleum industry and other chemical industries regularly use a technique called modern spectrometry. This is a method which uses the spectrum of the scattered light to understand the molecular structure and properties of the material under study. The technique is based on Raman effect. Similarly, the Raman scanners used to detect drugs, explosives, hazardous chemicals and gases is based on the principles of Raman effect. Raman lidar is used in atmospheric physics to measure the atmospheric extinction coefficient and the water vapor vertical distribution, so on and so forth. Honoring the discovery of this fundamental principle every year, February 28th is celebrated as National Science Day in India. National Science Day is a countrywide science festival celebrating the need and the contributions of science and technology. a day when the nation commemorates the genius of Sir C.V. Raman and celebrates the spirit of science through a plethora of activities ranging from seminars, debates, quiz competitions, exhibitions and lectures involving college and school students, teachers and researchers. Organized by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, program activities of this year are focused on the theme Make in India, Science and Technology-Driven Innovations. As we celebrate yet another Science Day, let us accept that if applied wisely, science and technology has immense power to transform the world. Let us all strive towards leveraging on this power to drive innovations that will make the world a better place to live in.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. Well, you can send in your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write in to us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today, but we'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV and Think Scientific. Bye-bye.